One trend which we have seen, which is increasingly happening, is the scams. Now that everything is being executed on an electronic or a digital platform, what are the things which they can watch out for? And probably avoid those things, whether it's a genuine investment scheme or not.
As the world gets more digital, as the world gets more sophisticated with AI and everything coming in, you will face incremental challenges where people will have to be more aware of everything in and around their surroundings, and especially the retired people and the aged people are the ones who are more prone and more gullible because they haven't experienced technology to that extent. First avoidable thing which any investor can do is
planning, advice, advisory, analytics, platform, execution, artificial intelligence. If there is one word to encompass them, then it will be tech. But what about investors? Their goals, their plans, their preferences, their financial needs solved by technology. If there is one word to encompass them, then it will be Fintech. Then what about the people behind this tech and Fintech? What about the processes? What about the vision behind this tech and Fintech? If there is one word which encompasses them, that will be the founders, the X factor in the Fintech. Mirae Asset Investment Managers presents a new conversational series, Let's Tech, Tech with an X. Here we explore the genius minds of founders, CEOs, product specialists, and personal finance evangelists, and if they're seeing any investment patterns, behaviors which are unique to Indian investors, and how technology can reshape and build our financial needs with solutions. Join us on this journey. And if you find this journey fulfilling, remember to like, share and subscribe our social channels. Now, let's tech. Hello everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Mohit Gang, co-founder and CEO Moneyfront. So Mohit, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Srini. Always a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Yeah. So our podcast, as you're aware, is called Let's Tech. Tech with an X, because X is the human factor, and so the conversation is all about what people bring behind it. So Mohit, I know very varied background. You were a banker earlier, and from that piece, from being an employee now to an employer, what is that one spark, if I have to ask you, which got you interested in this sort of that let's do this for the investors?
Look, very difficult, honestly, to answer what exactly was that one turning point. But look, even when I started in 2005 with Citibank, right, life just happened. Wealth came to me. I never thought I'd be entering into wealth management. And in 2016, when I cut my umbilical cord with the corporate life, it was more that that's the only place which I know, or the only domain which I've really worked for 15-20 years of my life, and perhaps I thought it'll be right for me to make a career out there and make something which is differentiated in the market, right? And having seen the industry so closely, as you say, कीड़ा हमेशा था कि खुद का कुछ करते हैं, and having watched the industry so closely, I always thought we can make something different in terms of the kind of services which we provide, the manner in which we provide, right? Trying and combining both the digital and physical aspects of it, trying and combining right by the client approach, a financial planning approach, and all those kind of things, right? So I wanted to bring everything under one roof, and that's when our journey started in 2016.
Interesting. So it's been about 8 years.
Absolutely.
And getting into the, in 2 years, it'll be a decade of doing it. So let me then come into the other part of it. When you start off, obviously everything is exciting. You're the one which is trying to do everything. But now that it's a settled model and all of it. So what would you say? And probably you started at a time where demon was yet to happen, and a lot of things have changed in the financial space post that. Of course, the whole depth and the breadth of the market has increased, but in terms of people's understanding of their financial needs versus the actual bit of it, and demon and then COVID, and now people seem to be more interested in investments and all of it. In this journey, have been there any specific trends which you found very interesting?
Look, first of all, there's no such thing as a settled entrepreneur, right? So even 8 years or even 10 years down the line, if you were to ask me, there's no such thing, because every day is a new turn of events for us, right? Every year, my business model has kind of gone through a dramatic shift, which even I couldn't envisage when we started that. Talking about trends, definitely every year brings us a new set of challenges, right? When we started, I think digital was just about catching up the fancy of the market, how things can be made paperless, how easy, seamless transactions could be, right? And that's where we started our journey. Gradually, the markets went into a mode where offering everything under one roof became a kind of a in thing, right? Having everything, having all your portfolios, a common viewing place, a common reporting thing became the in thing, right? And during COVID, when you were home logged, we realized that B2B could also be a model, providing digital technology services could also be a model, providing some well tech solutioning could also be a model. And so we kind of divested into that and we started doing a lot of work out there, right? Post COVID, we have realized that investors per se have gone through a full cycle of market experience,
Right.
basically for people who came prior to COVID, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So their experiences are coming solidly behind their investments now, which means people are more matured. They have an experience of seeing a downturn in the market. They are more rock solid behind their SIPs. They're not like withering away with small market movements and all those kind of things, right? And obviously, with every cycle, you also realize that investors are getting more demanding in terms of asking for more features, better experience, asking for more nuanced advisory, asking for more nuanced solutions, sophisticated products, and everything. So you have to continuously be at the game, and every cycle teaches you something. Needless to say that.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because there was a very big event for broking which happened recently, and a lot of investors came there, and you had one securities arm, the other business, the third business, a lot of digital guys. And I saw a set of like 2-3 investors, very young guys, go to each one of them and only ask one question: how quickly can you execute? Right? So I think you're absolutely right that their preferences, their demands, everything is really changing.
Yeah.
But in that terms, is there any issues or difficulties or challenges that the team faces now in addressing that?
Oh, lots of challenges. Look, honestly, I think industry has grown many folds from 14 to 24 or past 10 years. If I were to just talk from a 10 lakh crore to a 68 lakh crore industry, or from a 2 crore unique investor base to a 5.2 crore unique investor base, the challenges have increased many folds of handling the capacity, the volume, and the entire operational aspect of it, right? Honestly, if you were to still ask me, we need to still struggle to figure out solutions for NFT transactions, right? So those are not as smooth as what you would kind of envisage in an industry of this size and scale. The second challenge which you often face is managing investor expectations and investor experiences, right? And there are two parts to it. Experiences, obviously, on your platform, the digital ecosystem, the UI, UX, and the seamless nature of it. As you rightly said, they want quick execution, but you have to follow the protocol. You have to go through the KYC nuances. You have to go through the entire channel, right? So managing that entire piece is a very fine balancing act. And the second part is the overall expectation of returns. Honestly, Srini, I think has soared way past the roof. I think people have become too lazy and too lucky, perhaps, all combined into one, to kind of believe that returns are all there for taking, right? It's become too easy to make money in the market, which should not be the case. And I think some bit of lessons, some bit of market experiences, some bit of drawdowns, which perhaps we are seeing in the market, will give them a better lesson and will make them better prepared to taper down the expectations, right? I think that entire piece of managing expectations is somewhere going soaring past the roof, and a balancing act needs to be there.
So that was going to be my next question, that we are in choppy waters at the moment, and the way the markets have behaved, in at least in January, starting off from December, but mostly in January. Is there something as gray head professionals we can tell them? Because like you said, a lot of new investors came in during this time, and they seem to be sort of, not believing that you will have sideways market, you'll have a bearish trend. All they saw is upswing. Now that it has happened, what are the other advices that you could give them from your own journeys also, if you could probably?
Look, specifically, I think when it comes to Gen Z investors, right? They've just been in the market for last 10 odd years, if I'm not wrong. Predominantly, they are the ones who were born in 1997 to let's say 2012. And they are the ones who have come into market for last 10 years and they've not seen a single negative calendar year. It's 9 consecutive positive calendar years which they've experienced in the market. And they think it's too easy to make quick money in the market. And perhaps maybe this year is the year where the patience might get tested, right? And it's already getting tested in just 1 month of correction. We've gone through 17-15% kind of a drawdown from the peak levels on the index, and the patience is already getting tested, which is nothing as compared to what we saw in 2008-9 or perhaps what we saw in 2000 and everything, right? I'm not saying world is prepared for those kind of accidents again, but all I'm saying is mentally an investor has to be prepared that markets will always take the stairs on the way up and will perhaps take the elevator on the way down, right? So you have to be prepared that on the way up there is no elevator in the market. If someone is promising you an elevator, he's perhaps giving you a quick ride, and you need to be wary of that. And on the way down, you have to be very well prepared that there will be an elevator always, inevitably, and it will come suddenly out of the blue. So I think you just have to be patient enough, and patience is a virtue which only comes with time and experience. It can't be taught. It is more behavioral in nature, right? So one has to just experience it and go through 2-3 cycles of these kind of turmoil in the market. That's when it just happens naturally to you.
Yeah, you're right, because 50 to 100 is 100%.
Absolutely.
Jump, and 100 to 50 is a 50%, right? So
Totally.
if you come down to 50, you need 100 to make it up,
jump to go up.
Yeah. Oh, well said. I think that's a good analogy of the staircase and the escalator. I think our audience probably is going to make a note of that. I'm sure. So, since we discussed about market corrections, calls, I think one trend which we have seen, which is increasingly happening, is the scams. And even now, if anybody has to call, I think the first is the disclaimer now put by the try, right? Now that everything is being executed on an electronic or a digital platform, and our subject matter is such that investors sometimes are very gullible. They believe in certain too good to be true promises and actually fall for them. In your experience, if few things that we can tell them, that what are the things which they can watch out for, and probably avoid those things, maybe some checks and balances they can do before actually sort of stepping into whether it's a genuine thing, a genuine investment scheme or not.
Sure. Look, honestly, I think as the world gets more digital, as the world gets more sophisticated with AI and everything coming in, you will face incremental challenges where people will have to be more aware of everything in and around their surroundings. And especially the retired people and the aged people are the ones who are more prone and more gullible because they haven't experienced technology to that extent, right? And getting those kind of fake calls has become a common practice. All of us, I think, have got multiple of such fake calls. Saying your parcel has got stuck in customs, or there is someone in a police custody, or your passport or something or the other asking for an OTP or asking for you to click a link. The first avoidable thing which any investor can do is not go on a social media platform and click a link, basically, and not press any buttons or share any OTPs or anything. It could be any urgent pressing matter. You need to just take a step back, drink a glass of water, think 10 times before it, spend 15 minutes before you are reacting on any of these kind of things, right? Second thing is, no one will ask immediately for money. Never ever anyone needs to just pay out or transfer something urgently. There is no such pressing urgency anywhere in the financial world that a thing has to be done right now, right here, right? If there is such urgency, you better avoid the product.
Especially from an unknown person.
Absolutely. Especially from an unknown person, you just avoid it. Even from a known person, if someone is like just pushing you to make the payment right now, right here, without even blinking an eyelid, you just need to avoid. You need to take a pause. You need to think what can be such a rushed up thing, and it's better to avoid such opportunities rather than fall into it, right? And the last thing is always do background checks and verifications and credential checks from wherever you are investing, with whomsoever you are investing, right? It's very easy to fall into lure of those. As I said, elevator returns, which I call it, right? Which are fancy looking returns, 30, 40, 50% kind of numbers coming your way. You need to be just very careful. There's no free lunch available out there, and there are no arbitrages available in financial markets so easily, right? So you have to be very careful with attractive, fancy looking numbers. Do background checks of your distributors, your advisors, your financial planners, or whatever be it, right? And be absolutely certain how and where you are investing your money. And the last part is never let your finances or bank accounts being handled by anyone else. You have to be on guard with it. You have to be making the payments. You have to be cutting out the checks, and you have to be doubly sure what you're writing on it. So I think basic checks, and that's all matters.
Sure. So now platforms like yours also thrive a lot on social media, promotion, digital, and all of it. Now, whatever you've said right now, how does because this podcast probably would be also watched by budding entrepreneurs who also want to sort of, say that, can I be the next guy? Can I build something? I have a use case to be solved with investors. Can I do it? How do they stay relevant? And what are the things that probably they should be speaking about to investors to ensure that, this sort of challenges that they are facing, and you rightly said it's not going to die down. It's going to increase, and it's going to find different forms. How do they sort of, keep conversing with people despite being only like a face is talking or the brand is being used?
Yeah. Look, honestly, I see all the fintech platforms or even the normal platform today, they have a technology, they have a solution, a digital solution to it. So it's, to my mind, honestly, it's unfair to call only fintechs as fintechs and not the other ones as fintechs or technology platforms, because everyone today, everyone left, right or center has a digital technology platform, and perhaps some of the distributors might have far more sophisticated platforms than even the best of fintechs guys. You never know, right? So to my mind, everything is digital around. How you service the customer becomes more important. Do you have a complete digital interface of servicing, or you have a phygital, which is a physical plus a digital kind of an interface? Are you following a proper Uber model, or you have a mechanism where customers can interact with people, advisors, RMs can meet them, can greet them, and so on and so forth, right? So everything completely depends on what is your servicing model rather than an execution model. Execution, to my mind, is almost heading towards complete digitization, right? In that sense, anyone and everyone is speaking to clients. You just need to be trustworthy. For people who are running their own setups, honestly, I just follow one principle. I'm now here in this game for good, right? It's not 3 years, 5 years, 10 years for me, right? As you said, in 2 years will be a decade old. In another 12 years will be 2 decades old, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going out of the game now that I'm in the game.
Since is more important.
I'll play this for long. And when you're playing this for long, you are not trying and pushing your case right away with the clients.
Right.
You have a long rope way to go. I have 10, 20, 30 years perhaps, if God is by my side, right? I have a long way to go, and I'm in no rush to create this business right now, right here. Compounding takes a back-ended impact always.
Right.
So it's my job to just keep telling the right picture to the clients at all points in time, whether be execution, whether be advisory, whether be recommendations, or whether be the market behavior. I just have to instill the right habits, nurture the right numbers, and just keep telling what is right by the client approach. And perhaps someone who would abide by me, or someone who will like my philosophy, or who will kind of align with it, will perhaps find me on the way, on this journey. I'm in no rush to make a quick return for anyone, and we make it very clear to our investors also that there is no quick buck out here. If we be your financial advisors, we want to work with you and for you for the next generation also.
Right.
That's the approach. And once you have that approach, you have the longevity in mind, you will never go wrong with the clients, and client will also understand the final intention that you're working with them for the long run, right?
So it's about patience, perseverance, and more importantly, whether you want to be in this field or you're just getting attracted because somebody else is really doing well and coming in. I mean, we see it in most facets of life, right? I mean, somebody is doing very well in films, so I want to become that. But can you sustain? Can you persevere? Can you be authentic? I think that is more important.
Look, all the best examples you will see around, they didn't enter that profession because there was fame or money in that, right? And and just take, okay, perhaps might be a too overdrawn kind of an example, right? Tendulkar didn't start playing cricket because there was fame and money in it. He played cricket because he was enjoying playing cricket, right? He liked it, he kept playing, and he became better at the game, and then whatever he achieved, right? Or anyone for that matter. You take any great singer or any great writer. He didn't start writing because he thought there is fame and prominence in writing and will become a celebrity or a TV star. He just started writing because he loved writing intrinsically. He started with that, and then probably the thing caught on to him, and he became famous because he was actually good at it, right? And he kept doing it for many years put together, and that's when the actual thing turned out to be what it looks like now to you and I, right? So that's the game always.
So since we are in this topic, let me ask you about skill set. So people who are getting into financial advisory, what is that? Of course, there are a set of rules which you have to follow and do it. But from a today's perspective, are there any key sort of, you would say that, the knowledge base, the skill set, what they should be doing to keep themselves relevant?
Look, a lot of personal finance is behavioral in nature, right? And I think you guys are great proponents of behavioral finance per se. So it's more about managing client behaviors and client traits and emotions at time than managing money. Managing money is still a simpler art, honestly. You can learn it, you can learn the tricks of the game. There isn't sophisticated science behind mutual funds. You can learn the game pretty much, anyone and everyone who is interested in it, right? But learning to manage client emotions is a tougher art, right? So look, honestly, I think patience and perseverance, which you said, is the right skill set, but nurturing that skill set in your clients also is a bigger art to have. How do you nurture their behavior and how do you navigate them through all the cycles of the market? Basically, I think that's where your acumen or where your skill set will possibly come into picture. Look, I've always believed in this business, you have to be a good reader and a great listener, which means that the more you read, whether it be books or papers or articles or blogs or anything, the more you know about the world, the better your conversations get, and the better and the broader your horizon gets, so that you can assimilate everything, because markets finally is dependent on thousands of variables, and you need to at least understand those variables to be able to articulate well, right? And the second thing, which goes without saying, is how patiently are you playing the game, which is how much you continuously try and upgrade your skills, how much you continuously try and learn newer products, newer technologies, perhaps adapt to those and then take it quickly to your clients. Those two things, my sense, is always keep you ahead of the game. But trust you me, finally the game will lie at the end of the client, where you will have to manage his behavior more than anything else. Managing money is an easy art.
So it's between customers and clients, right? I think every customer is not a client. Every client will get you more customers, and maybe that's a cycle which goes on. And it's very, very important to understand that difference for people. And I think the moment you get into that cycle and it keep repeating, because I always believe that there was one question somebody had asked me once, that when there is an issue, there's a problem, what do you do? And I think at that point of time, you're doing the basics is more important.
Absolutely.
If it's a maniac Monday which is happening and everybody's terming it, I think on that day, what is more important is to go back to your basics and do the right things. I mean, there's no point predicting or doing something on that. So here probably, since you mentioned about reading, how many hours do you devote to that?
Look, finally everything adds up.
Let me not ask you like a day wise, then you'll probably tell me 2 hours, 3 hours, but okay, let me put it in a different way. In a year, probably, how many books you would have read, the max?
Well, look, I'm not, honestly, I love reading, which is true. And I also love watching content. So I put it all in one basket. Like, I also love meaningful conversations like the one which we are having right now, or perhaps maybe at times when I will interact with fund managers, teams, research folks. So those are all adding on to me. So I'm looking at more add-ons, and to each one his own, right? Whether you like the feel of a physical paper or you like the digital thing, to everyone is his own. But yeah, constantly, as I said, I still do my 3 physical papers a day. I'll still do few
Yeah.
pages of my books a day. I'll still do a lot of reading on X. I'll still do few blogs a day, and I'll still go through some of the fund house content which comes my way, right?
Mm.
And obviously, I have curated lists for it. What do I want to read and don't want to read? And then I will have interactions like these, right? So
I want to hear more about what you don't want to read, because you're absolutely right. The deluge of information
yeah,
which is
yeah.
around. How do you filter that out?
No, it's very tough. You have to mark out your zones. You have to mark out your zones. Look, a newspaper is non-negotiable to me. I will read it, though I know that's only relevant for the day.
Yeah.
It's
But
not
that's
something which you.
analysis.
That's more. Yeah, that's what is
Yeah.
happening. What is going on. And X is non-negotiable to me. I will spend a particular amount of time on Twitter or X, as you call it, right? Surfing and figuring out right content for myself. And again, a book is also non-negotiable kind of a thing. Sometimes it could be 20-25 pages, and sometimes it could be 5-10 pages, right? So it all depends on the day. But my sense is that is something which helps you build perennial knowledge, which helps you build meaningful, deeper conversations with understanding. A book is the only source which will finally give you wisdom to deal with conversations in a much more intricate and a balanced, nuanced manner. A newspaper or any other piece of information or
Right.
article will just make you good with data or make you good with certain things which are happening around you.
Yeah.
Right. I also love reading fund house commentaries. I think few of the fund houses make extremely meaningful conversations. So I marked out. That okay, debt commentary has to be read from this gentleman, and a particular snippet or a snapshot
Sure.
or a particular insight newspaper or insight article from this fund house is so relevant for me. So I will always quickly, as and when I get it, I will always quickly browse through, and otherwise then it's more topic oriented.
Sure. So, Mohit, before we let you go, I need to ask you this question. If you were not doing your current job and not your previous assignment, what you were doing, what was it you could have turned out to be?
Oh goodness. And I've never thought about it. But look, I think I like to be, and I think the privilege of life is uh, to be lazy and doing what you just like to do. Right.
Okay.
I like my lazy days, which is
Mm.
having my cup of tea, sitting by my balcony, and reading a nice paper or a nice book. To me, that's ultimate peace and tranquility, right? And I love days which gives me those. I would be just traveling, if not doing. I don't have any other skill set which could have been my business or profession. I'm just being very honest with you, right? So, finance or investing is the only thing worthwhile which can commercially be lucrative for me, and it also involves my passion, is what I picked up. But other than that, is there a hobby which I have which could become a commercial hobby for me? I honestly doubt. There are hobbies. I like astrology, I like traveling, I like reading, right? And I like playing my sports. I like playing tennis. So those are few things which I do, and I continuously do that. I like running, so I do my regular runs, but nothing which
Are
can
you a
become a
ma-
commercial thing for
Are you a
me.
marathon runner?
I do my half marathons a year,
Okay.
but nothing
Okay.
more than that. I'm not like a
That's good enough.
super pro.
Because that itself requires a lot of stamina.
Yeah.
I think we've had a wonderful time interacting with Mohit
Thank you
today
so much.
and getting to know about the technology challenges. How is he overcoming that? In fact, a lot of anecdotes that he has given probably are gonna. I can borrow it maybe in some of our conversations. But what is more interesting for me is I think what Mohit has shared today is about a budding entrepreneur also, if he's looking into it, what sort of things they can look at. So thank you, Mohit. Thank you for
My
doing
pleasure.
this.
Thank you so much.
And maybe we'll chat up sometime again in future about closer to a decade.
Sure enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.